Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. How's it going?
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. They really knocked last week's episode down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Our numbers were extremely high, extremely fast.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
You're sought after, sir.
I don't go that far. Don't go that far. I think people just like something to listen to while they're working and doing other stuff. I think that's what it is.
Well, I know for a fact. Brick Jams does.
But I'll take the compliment.
You better.
And we welcome all of you lovely folks back to another exciting episode of Forever Sorting. Let's knock our intro out.
Let's do it.
That's what we do.
Let's do this.
Everybody, my name is Kevin Hinkle. Thank you for listening to another episode of Forever Sorting. If you have an interest in following me outside of this program, you can find me online at KevinAHinkle.com or on social media at Mr. Kevin Hinkle. You can also find my work just as a freelance artist. I post that to social media at Mr. Hinkle Draws. So I thank you for that's all right. I thank you for finding me and following me there. I appreciate it. In addition to that, I have a comic series called Bricks in the Middle. It is a comic series about Lego fans, for Lego fans that I illustrate. There'll be a new comic dropping this week. So when you guys watch this, it would have been a couple days ago, probably.
Oh my!
But it's coming out. We have a new comic dropping in a couple days. You can find that online at bricksinthemiddle.com or on social media at BITM Comics. Last but not least, I have a shirt service in which I design super cool Lego inspired t-shirts called AFL Shirts, and that is in partnership with Chris from Bricks on the Dollar. If you go to bricksonthedollar.com, you can find information about that as a monthly subscription service. We are offering up at this recording our Western shirt.
Oh my!
And then by the time you guys see this, I think it might be the last day of August. We're getting really, really close.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. I'll let you done with your intro.
So, but you can find out that on bricksonthedollar.com. You can either sign up for the monthly subscription service for $20 a month and get a awesome new shirt designed by me mailed straight to your door, or you can find links on there to our Amazon store where we have past designs for $25, but you get cuts for men, women, and children, as well as different color options for the shirts. All of that, bricksonthedollar.com. I thank you very much for supporting me, for supporting my artwork. It is greatly appreciated.
So I was thinking we should move the show to Saturday mornings.
Whatever.
So that's what we're going to do. Starting next, this episode will air Saturday morning.
Okay, cool.
Everybody, a Saturday and Sunday, an opportunity to watch it before you have to go back to work.
Nice.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
The show used to be on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, didn't it?
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
I moved it to Sunday, thinking that was a good idea. And now I think Saturday might be the move.
Eventually, it'll just keep moving a day until it gets back.
Hey, don't put it past me.
Yeah. So here's a sneak peek. I don't even have it yet. I haven't even designed it yet. I haven't even done a concept sketch yet. But our next AFL shirt will be as closely to Halloween theme as we can get it.
Oh my!
So think spooky. Think old school Lego themes that may be spooky. That's your little bit of a sneak peek. So, all right. As we talk today, I kind of was like, you know what? I need something to occupy a little bit of my hands and mind. So I pulled out a set from the backlog. If you'll allow, I'm going to build this while we're talking today.
As long as you talk, that'll be fine. All right.
So there's. Let me bust these out. There it is. We got the sounds of a can snapping. We got some bags dropping. This is called Emmett and Lucy's Escape Buggy. 70829, 550 pieces. Came out this year. There it is. Whoop. All right. So
You got stickers?
I got stickers. And then
What about that 1x2? Oh, that's the wrong. Never mind. I was going to ask about a piece that's not in that set. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, not to hog the spotlight.
Hog what?
Should I keep it on me or should I aim it down?
Clutch would say aim it down.
Is that what he'd say?
That's what he would say. Aim it down.
Channel our inner Clutch.
Yeah. He's like, well, if you're gonna play with bricks, we need to see them.
So not to hog the spotlight, #hoglight. I think a certain somebody celebrated a certain anniversary 24 hours ago. Was that you?
That may or may not be true. I was looking at it, and I think it's been 2 days.
So you lied to everybody.
I lied to everybody last night, but hey, what are you gonna do?
So are you gonna do a second anniversary special?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Yeah, in another 5 years, probably.
Okay, very good. Well, happy 5-year anniversary.
Thanks, yeah.
It was fun. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer last night, but
it's okay.
Hey, that's how it is.
Yep. But yeah, 5 years on YouTube. It's as or more tumultuous as your 12 years at Lego.
There it is.
So tumultuous. Is that a word?
That's a great word.
Okay.
That's a great word. So
what you talk?
I was gonna say last time we left our heroes. we were finishing up, or we actually had just finished up talking about Brick Fair Alabama 2012.
Yeah,
and that was in the timeline in the Hinkle verse. That was January of 2012. That's where that was. So we're gonna move on from there. I don't think we had any questions from the last one.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Do you want to bring it up and see if there was? I know there was.
I'm looking.
I know there was a comment or two, but
there was definitely comments.
There was not.
How about last week's forever sorting?
Yeah.
There was 3 comments.
I do appreciate Dude Jude always commenting. Great, keep up the good work.
Yeah, Dude Jude says flex tape. Good one, guys. Keep up the good work. It's what he said. Amy McLean said super link arts. This is so engaging. I think that might be. I'm not sure. And then Ken Marlowe Brick said first.
Nice.
Yeah. So
thank you. Thank you. Everybody.
Maybe we'll start doing comment time.
I think that might be worth it.
Maybe we should do right after intro. We do comment time.
I like it. I love it when they do that in building up to it.
I didn't even know. Wait, they do that?
They do that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Clutch. I apologize. I do. I'm not a building up to it watcher.
I am very behind. You can tell because I always comment every time I watch. Yeah. And I haven't commented. Since I was traveling and missed so many, I haven't been able to catch up.
But I will say this, Clutch, if you're listening, Brick Jams is an avid watcher.
I think I've seen comments from him before.
Yeah, that's my buddy. Everybody knows me and Jams. We connected at the hip now. So,
are you at Christmas card level?
Dude, we are at sleepover level.
That's the best.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the best.
We're at sleepover level.
How do you feel about this part?
I feel like it is useful for the fact that it is a heart, and that's what it is. I don't own that piece, so I don't know if here's how I feel about it. Anything Lego makes, the mock makers will make it work and create something special out of it.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I feel like me personally, oh look, another odd shaped piece.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. I got you.
Yeah. So both ways. I hate it and love it at the same time. I hate it because Lego's how's a kid supposed to be creative after you made the heart for him? And then I feel great that the A-fall mock makers or T-fall mock makers are going to put that into a build, and it's going to be how I would have never thought to use it like that.
Yeah.
You guys are geniuses.
I hear you. I hear you totally.
So both.
It's one of those parts that makes me pause.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Makes me pause.
Well, I don't know if you know of my personal pet peeve. All right, this was not the game plan, but I need to get it off my chest now. Apparently, Kev. So obviously, we know about the early bubble pop of Lego.
Yeah.
Was it late 90s?
Very early 2000s.
Where they almost lost their entire everything because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And they oversaturated the market with specialty print molded pieces.
Yeah, they went a little crazy.
Since I realized that, or since I was taught that, or since I paid attention, and I have always had a concern that Lego is going to do that again. And every year they come out with a handful of new parts of things that could have been built out of 4 or 5 parts. Now, I don't know what's happening. If they're, well, just give them what they want. Make the AFOLs what they want. Make it easier on the kids. Or, they're falling down the slippery slope again.
Do you know the acronym that the community uses for those parts that you just explained?
I honestly don't, because me.
You know what it is? It's called POOP.
There you go.
Parts out of other parts.
There you go. Okay. I had seen that, did not know what that was stood for.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I like the brand.
Yeah.
And I'd prefer to see it keep going.
Yeah.
But if you're just gonna mega blocks it on me.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Did you go there?
I did. I went there.
Did you?
I did. You're saying?
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that it's gonna. Lego, if you don't do better, you're gonna fall apart again.
I think that they have had. So this is me now speaking to the nature of this program, a little bit of my insider information.
Yeah. That's kind of why I brought it up right here, right now with you.
I feel like knowing what I know, seeing what I've seen, and being in the meetings I've been in, I also hold that concern, not for the same reasons that I think you and from what I've heard a lot of other members of the community have voiced, which is like, oh, we're looking at the product portfolio, we're looking at the piece count, we're looking at the specialized elements. But me looking at it from their handling of marketing agendas and a lot of other things, I'm like, this looks scary.
Yeah.
And I think they have had their warning signs. I think they've had their warning signs with the last purge, in which many folks joined the ranks of Keld's Angels, my fictional club of people that do not have a choice in their exit from the company. To be precise, almost 2,000.
Yeah.
But we're going to pretend like that never happened already, because they are, so we will as well. And that's a huge warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole philosophy or agenda there was to tighten the ship, eliminate redundancies, and get everybody back on track, because Lego very much is a giant company.
Yeah.
They love to think they're not, but they are a giant company that has a lot of communication errors, has a lot of chefs in the kitchen constantly, and they need to tighten that up. And they did the Great Purge, or whatever you want to call it, the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
2,000 people that were in a lot of cases, almost every case, very long-standing, loyal people that have dedicated their lives to this brand and this company, were shown the exit door. And what are the real changes they made since then? I mean, obviously I'm not there. I don't know. But I have people that still work there, and I'm friends with them. And I can't say that they've really shown any signs of changes after that. So that's scary.
Yeah.
It's like there's your warning signs, and they're not heeding them. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
We shall see.
I can only speak for the fact that I don't want to see them go under, because I like the product. It's like this. If Lego were to go under,
yep,
the second best is garbage to me.
Which would be?
I assume Mega Blocks or Mega Constructs, maybe Connects. I don't know. There's every time you move and change your angle, you change your light pattern.
Really?
Yep. Go the other way. There, see?
Oh, it does weird things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
Just letting you know.
You know, it does that actually with my phone too.
Yeah.
Like when I'm trying to, like when I'm here in my basement and I'm trying to take a picture of like a set I've built.
Yeah, it has everything to do with lighting.
Depending on which angle, like the whole thing will turn red, or it'll turn yellow, or it'll turn white. Like, look, it's doing it now a little bit, right?
Oh yeah,
it's weird. I don't know.
I love it. It's just I don't. What is your opinion on the second best block? Not you, Kevin. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people at home.
Oh, got it.
Now what's yours? Comment down below.
I would not say that I've had enough experience with other brands to make a solid judgment call.
Yeah.
I would guess it's Mega Constructs.
I mean, they seem to be the next biggest.
I've never played around with Nano Block, which looks pretty interesting. You see a lot of Nano Block in Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And it looks like a decent product, but I've never once built one, so I don't know.
I don't know that either.
But you know, and I think the rest is a bunch of like, you know, floatsome, just kind of like
garbage
all down there in the bottom. But yeah, you know, hey, tangents. We love tangents here.
Tangents.
If you're not tangenting, you're not living, folks.
But yeah, so yeah, I think we've pushed. So well, before we go on, ladies and gentlemen, what are your views on this whole situation with Lego? I know the new parts are cool, and like a 1x1 round smooth tile is a great piece. I love it. I'm glad they made it. It is defective mostly, but I like to have them.
This part is defective, but I love it.
Well, my buddy Brick Lover 18, he did a display where he put a bunch of them down and he picked them up, and probably a third of them were cracked in half.
Oh, what color though?
Gray, like bluish gray.
That's not good.
The part's fully defective.
That's not good.
Yeah, fully defective.
I got to meet Brick Lover 18.
Yeah, he's good people. I like Brad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spend a ton of time together. He was only there for like one public day.
Yeah.
But he registered to be there for the whole show. So I thought that was
Brad.
I'm like, man, you got the most expensive public ticket you could find.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
So yeah. So Kev.
Yes.
You got anything to tell us?
Do we have a story to go into today?
I think we should have a story to go into today. Or should we just keep on tangenting?
Nah, I'd say 20 minutes of that's probably enough.
Yeah, I think Reed's about to lose his mind right now.
No, Reed. So yeah. So as I was telling you guys last time, continuing on this journey, we're in the timeline in 2012, January of 2012, on the heels of Brick for Alabama, and I'm now kind of I'm entrusted with the car. You know, I've learned how to drive. I've had my driving lessons. I've gotten my license. Jim has bestowed me with my community coordinator license, and I'm in charge of the country, or countries, I should say. Well, actually, at this time, it was just the United States and Canada. That was it.
Okay.
So
easy peasy. You can do that in your sleep.
I can do that in my sleep. Yeah. Jim maintained Latin America, Central South America. That was his territory.
Nice.
And I was the United States and Canada. So then, you know, we were just moving on, right? Like, you know, life was actually pretty good. That we hit a really good stride. I was loving it. I had never been happier, I don't think, at Lego in my life. I had a great boss. I've always said that I thought Jim was an excellent boss. He was very amazing at being able to tell you what was going to happen next. His foresight was nothing to be joked about.
Yeah. Was he the best boss you ever had?
That's a good question. Best boss I ever had. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say he was. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I can believe that. I met him.
Yeah, out of every boss I've had, yep.
Yeah.
So so yeah, as I mentioned probably forever ago at this point, Jim himself had spent 11 years in the community before I met him. And so he knew all about fans. He knew how fans think and how they operate and what they do. And he had come over from the Lego Universe realm.
Yeah.
And so one of the major things that he had kind of seen the writing on the wall was he didn't think Lego Universe was going to last much longer. And so he was kind of looking to get out of there. And luckily he did. And he transitioned into the more corporate world, more broadly corporate world, and had moved up to infield. But amazingly, right around this time, Lego Universe shut down.
Oh, go figure.
And so, amazingly, he had predicted that again. And he's got some wonderful stories about things that happened back in the day, which I will not take that thunder from him. So Lego Universe shut down. There's a little bit of controversy around that, of course, because there has to be.
Always.
So Lego had purchased, so the company was NetDevil. That's the company. The company that was making the game was called NetDevil. They had really only made one quote unquote successful game, which was Auto Assault. I had talked about back in an earlier episode how I visited their studio when I was in college.
Yeah, early episode
about a little bit of learning about that company. So something happened. You can find information on the internet. And NetDevil decided to either go under or they were purchased by somebody. But NetDevil turned into Gazillion Entertainment. I don't know. Yeah. And Gazillion was like, I think, a much larger company that had done games for longer time, and they just like somehow acquired NetDevil. And they were like, whoa, what is this thing you guys are doing? What, a Lego game? No, thank you. And so they were like ready to shut it all down right then and there. And Lego stepped in because they obviously had a vast financial investment in this game and had set up an entire studio and office in Louisville, Colorado to maintain it and run it. So they said, well, we can't allow that. So they purchased this, like, the whole studio there in Colorado, and then turned it into Playwell Studios. So for a time, a short-lived time, it was a Lego-owned and Lego-operated facility that had been rebranded from NetDevil to then Gazillion to then Playwell Studios. And Playwell Studios, obviously Playwell, right? A play on Lego acronym and all that. But
sure.
But Playwell Studios was Lego. It was officially 100% Lego. Down to all the employees that worked there were now Lego employees. They got all the perks and benefits that brought. And then somebody high up in the chain, a very high-ranking person, went and visited Playwell Studios. Right around this time, like, pretty, 2011, 2012, around that time, and said, this isn't working out. Let's just shut the game down. And so it was very controversial because you had this studio, NetDevil Studio, they've been around for a while. Yeah. And they kind of finally hit it big with this Lego contract, right? Like, they were very excited. But then something happened with the company. It turned into Gazillion. Then Gazillion didn't want them, but Lego bought them and turned them into Playwell. And now Lego comes here and visits, says, we don't like this anymore. Just shut the whole thing down. And so then they all lost their jobs.
What a rigmarole.
It's another one of those things that sometimes is a little bit lost to time. Yeah. But there was a couple hundred people that worked there. They were all Lego employees. And, in a weird way, you could say Lego saved them at first, because Gazillion was going to get rid of them, but then they just ended up laying them off anyway.
That's tough.
So there were some hurt feelings I can totally understand.
Sure.
There was some anger and resentment.
Absolutely.
When all of this went down, there was a lot of action on the social media from these folks at Playwell Studios, talking about how they felt about Lego and how everything had gone down. But they were all let go, and that whole entire studio was just shut down, and the game was turned off. And that was that. A lot of folks now, the younger folks in the community, we always joke about bring monorail back, bring back 9-volt trains, right? We've all heard it, right? We've heard it.
Yeah.
We've heard it to death. The younger kids, not so young anymore, they will still go on about how Lego Universe should be brought back. They still talk about it.
Well, there you go. I mean, each generation has a thing, right?
All right, they got a thing. And so that happened. Obviously, Jim was a little relieved that he had gotten out when he got out.
Sure.
He, of course, had friends that were still there, and they'd all lost his jobs, and he felt bad for them. But he was also like, well, the way they were managing, and I mean, that's not a surprise.
He didn't say, I told you so.
Yeah, a little bit. But so they were gone. And so one day we were sitting there in Infield in our office, and somebody from, I think it was from the model shop where the master builders work, came over and said, hey, so Lego Universe, is gone, but they had a massive brick building studio that they had set up there. And I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but it was just as large, if not larger, than the deposit of bricks that Legoland California had. It was,
I believe you said that.
Yeah, massive. But they don't need it anymore. They don't exist. So they hired, this company to come in and just literally pack up the whole office and put it in a shipping container and ship it back to Infield. And so the folks, the manager of the model shop came over and said, hey, we're getting all this stuff. We're going to pull all the brick out of it and see what we can salvage to put in the model shop in Infield. Do you guys representing community want to have a go at looking through it? Whatever we don't take is all going to get ground up for recycling.
Oh my.
Which is a very common, normal thing at Lego, everybody. Very normal. And so we agreed.
Kevin says, don't freak out. They always turn it in.
They do.
As dust.
They always do. And people still freak out every time. But so we agreed. We said, yeah, we'll do it. There was a catch. The catch was that the shipment had just arrived and the model shop needed a few days to go through it all. And so we couldn't go through it until they had already gone through it.
Yeah.
And it had a Monday/Tuesday schedule of getting shipped off to get ground up. So we literally had the weekend. That was our option. So if you guys want to come in on a Saturday and or a Sunday and look through it all, be our guest. But Monday, Tuesday, it's done. So what do? We do that.
Absolutely.
we carve out time on a Saturday. We come in and we were there for a good probably 10 hours.
My God.
But it was so amazing. I can't even begin to tell you. So the whole, it was also kind of sad. The corpse of Lego Universe was before us in the warehouse. It was a field of about 25 pallets worth of not just brick. Believe me, there was a lot of brick. Oops.
Would you have an earthquake open in Connecticut right now?
I hit the tripod leg.
Yeah,
but not just brick, but everything. There was working desks, there was rolly chairs, there was trash cans.
Oh no.
And you don't know what's in each box. They just hired some crew to just seriously come in, tape it all up and ship it.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of I don't know. I had a lot of weird emotions going through it. Because there was some stuff that was you open a box and it was literally a little wicker basket with an apple in it. And of course the apple now is a little moldy, but I'm wow, somebody went into their little office kitchenette and just packed it up and shipped it out. Wow. And it was there was rolls of toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning products. There was cans of soda in a box. We opened, it was just all cans of soda. Literally it was ants to a carcass. They went in this building, gutted it and shipped to Infield. Is what they did. There was also there was 4, I want to say, very large, nice display cabinets. Very large. They were used to display a lot of the in-game models because, as I mentioned before, they brick built all the models to make sure that they were realistic. That's why they had the brick there in the first place. but they didn't have a need for that, so they shipped them. Out of the 4, 2 of them were damaged beyond repair in the process, because this is a display cabinet, right? And these guys just threw it on a semi truck. So they were gone. They were not to be. They wouldn't be used. One of them was in perfect condition, and then the third one just had some, like, the glass had broken, but the cabinet was fine.
Oh.
So we claimed one of those, actually. The community department in Enfield claimed a clear display cabinet that ended up being our window into the community, is what we called it. And there are photos of it. We can talk about it at a later time. And it was something that we very much cherished and curated and maintained through the entire time that we were there, including myself. I maintained that all through until my departure. And actually, spoiler alert, I was just told, I think I was in Canada, so maybe 3 weeks ago, the cabinet has now been totally garbaged. So,
okay, yay!
So the final nail in the coffin, ladies and gentlemen, has been concluded. Someone sent me a photo, and everything in the case was discarded, and it now sits there empty in the hallway in Enfield. So that's lovely. But
that's sweet of them.
It is very sweet of them. I shed a tear. So we claimed one of those, and we put it in the main hallway of the office where we sat, and we said, we'll put things from the community on display there. We think that's a good idea. And we went through the brick, and obviously we were looking through stuff that we thought would make sense to stock for the community. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you find a box full of soccer balls, chances are we're probably going to save that because the GBC heads would probably really appreciate that.
Lose their mind over that, for sure.
Exactly. If there was base plates, we would snag those. Basic brick, like 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, in different colors, we snagged a lot of that. So there was no way we could have saved all of it. I mean, this is pallets and pallets and pallets. And as I mentioned before, we pay for the pallets we keep. There's a cost. There's an internal cost for storing pallets. And the community budget is always a wonderfully negative resource. So, but we spent a whole day there. It was a lot of fun. We were talking about parts as we were rummaging through things. We were talking about his Lego. Jim was sharing his Lego Universe days and some of his stories as we were rummaging through the carcass that was Lego Universe.
Here's a weird one. I got a weird one.
Yeah.
Question: did Jim find anything that he left?
I don't think so. I don't remember him.
I know that's a weird question.
Yeah.
How cool would it have been for him to open a box and be like, "That's where I left it"?
Yeah, that would have been bizarre. There was a lot of stuff though, and as I mentioned, not just brick, but like there was drafting tables from the artists that work on the game. It was just a little weird, but we went through it, and that was a fun Saturday. I remember at one point we joked because of course there's security cameras in there, and they knew we were there. It's not like the Lego campus is never totally abandoned ever. On the weekends it's just a much lighter crew because customer service is still working, but whatever.
Oh, that customer service.
There they are. So people knew that we were there because you have to alert them on a Saturday that us office workers are going to be rummaging around in the warehouse. Mm-hmm. But we were joking that on the security camera footage, which is no audio, just visual, that it probably didn't make any sense to them watching us like look through random boxes of brick, and we're like flailing our arms around, telling stories and laughing. They're like, man, this must make no sense to the people that are watching the footage. And I remember joking to Jim, I go, how funny would it be right now if I toss like this bag of like 1x1 rounds, brown plates, if I toss this to you across the room and you just spill it all over the floor? like how funny would that be? He's like, not very funny. I'm like, no, but I mean on the footage. How funny would it be to them? And he's like, oh, it'd probably be hilarious. And I was like, here, catch. And I threw it at him, not realizing the bag wasn't quite bound.
Oh,
and it actually did hit the floor and shatter.
Oh my god!
And we both we were hysterically laughing.
That's terrible.
And we're like, we got to clean it up, of course, but we're like, wow, all right, somebody's gonna have a good laugh later. And then we got the big push broom and pushed up all they were like translucent, clear, round plates, I think. So that happened. We left at one point. We went and got delicious Five Guys for lunch that day.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Came back, ate some burger. We were disgusting. Anytime you go to the warehouse, anytime, when you're done, you're disgusting, because the warehouse at Lego is not. There's no air conditioning or heater in the warehouse, so whatever the elements are that day is the elements you will be working in.
Oh, fun.
It's also just very dirty. It is extremely dusty. Anytime I would spend a day in the warehouse, I'd come back and blow my nose and it'd be all dirt and dust in my nose. No matter what. And so we were gross. We were certainly gross. But we were sitting there having some delicious cheeseburgers as we were, reflecting on a day's worth of rummaging through an office's carcass. And it was interesting. It was an interesting day. But that's something I fondly remember.
And you say, oh, well, we went and spent 10 hours working. And, that's true if you don't like Lego as a thing.
Right.
I can only imagine the enjoyment of being able to be like, and we get to use all of this.
Yeah. And it was great. I mean, that's why I wanted to make sure I addressed it at some point.
Yeah.
Because it was a wonderful day. I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure Jim had a good time too. I mean, and this is me working with my boss in a warehouse on a Saturday for about 10 hours, going through stuff that we were trying to find and save to use for the community, so that they know, hey, Lego appreciates what you guys do. Here's something we saved for you. Whatever that means is whatever it means. I mean, a lot of the stuff we collected over the years, we didn't have a clear plan for how we were going to use it. Yeah. We're like, oh, fans might like this, save it. Oh, fans might ask for this, save it. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a reason to save anything.
Sure.
We weren't hoarders by any means. We weren't like trying to save like paper certificates that were like useless.
Right.
Like, it was all about what brick could be used or what sets could be used. Poly bags or make and take giveaway models, like stuff that we thought could have value or benefit in the community.
Absolutely.
So we were always doing that. We were always saving stuff. And eventually we did kind of get this reputation in the office of being like the trash collectors because so many people throw stuff away that really could be repurposed for a company reason.
Yeah.
And have goodwill. I mean, I'm not talking about us just diving through the dumpsters, which, believe me, we had a lot of that too, because there's stuff that we could use and we did use it. Like, I just said, like, we didn't really save a lot of paperwork, but if there's a poster, like one of the Lego Star Wars posters in good shape that has like all the figures and there's like a case of 200 of them sitting in the dumpster.
I know 200 kids that would love that.
And what we would do is we'd save that, and we would, when a lug would reach out to us, because they always did,
sure,
and they'd say, hey, community team, we've been offered to do a show at our local children's hospital. Do you have anything you can give us that we can give the kids when we do this show on behalf of your brand?
Yeah.
And we'd say, well, yes, we do. And so we would ship them the case of posters, and they give them out to the kids.
Absolutely.
And we can't do that. Like, we didn't have the budget to just make them. Right. As I mentioned, community team had no budget. So we had to like survive off of garbage and people's donations internally.
Wow.
But yeah, we did get a reputation as being like the trash collectors in the company, which Jim certainly did not care about. He's like, I don't care. I do not care if you're going to mock me for actually saving company money and resources to do my job.
Yeah.
He's like, by all means. And so I definitely kind of adopted his philosophy on that as well, saying like, go ahead, make fun of me or whatever you want to do, but I'm saving company money, repurposing assets, and in a way doing my part towards their planet promise, which is something that you guys have heard them mention a lot with their sustainable leaf elements. Planet promise also is trying to repurpose assets in the company, save money. That's very much in line with one of their agendas. And so I was like, yeah, I agree with that. That's a great way to think about this. So we did that. And it was a good time, and we over the years, you'll hear lots of stories of the community and lugs and shows like conventions reaching out to me and or Jim and saying, hey, we're doing this. Is there anything you can give us? And I mean, I shipped out probably thousands of things in my time there. It was never at a cost, ever. I never charged the community for that stuff.
Yeah.
If I could give it to them, I would. It's like, hey, I have a case of these poly bags. You can use these for whatever. I mean, obviously, I didn't just give anything out anytime I was asked.
Yeah.
But if it made sense, which a lot of times it did, I would give that stuff out. As far as I know, none of that happens anymore.
Well, good. I'm glad Lego's not even reaching out to the community anymore. Good. Good job, Lego. Wait a minute. Wait, no, wait, what?
Hold on. So yeah, it's not necessarily happening anymore, which is a little sad, but whatever.
A little
sad. Yeah.
A little.
Right. But yeah, we something we used to do back in the day.
That's a good thing to do.
So yeah. So that happened. And then we moved into.
Is that Lucy?
It is actually.
Okay.
It's there.
You looked at the stairs, didn't you? Never mind.
I looked at what?
I said you looked at the stairs, didn't you?
The stairs?
Yeah. Is that? Never mind.
Oh no, I can't even see the stairs from where I am. It would just be like sneaking up behind me. But what's really important for everybody in this tale that's been listening to us is something pretty big happened that really, really just changed a lot of things. I think it changed the shape of the community in North America. I don't know if I want to say for better, for worse, or whatever, but it changed it, and it changed my life quite substantially. And that is in February.
Yeah.
So now we're in February of 2012.
Check that.
Timestamp. Got it.
Yeah.
Is when Jim was let go from Lego.
Oh.
And that was very much a blind side to me. I don't know how much of it was to him. As I had mentioned before, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, Jim was just really excellent in kind of shielding me from some of the upper management nonsense that was going on. He wanted me to focus on the community, and that's what mattered.
Yeah.
And so he dealt with a lot of the director level stuff in the team. He dealt with a lot of the meetings with other aspects of Lego, the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the boots on the ground. I was there to talk to lugs, ambassadors, conventions, travel, help fans, support fans, answer questions from fans. And that's what I did. And so, but then in February, totally out of nowhere.
February, what year?
2012.
Uh-huh.
I remember getting a text message from Jim, and it said, well, sorry, it's finally over. And I remember I replied saying, what does that mean? I was like, what does that mean? And he did not reply. I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean? And I did not get any information. He went radio silent. And then within probably 30 minutes to an hour, I remember Tormid, who was the director of our department, he was in charge of everything in Billund. He called me up. Again, it was very unusual for me to get a call from Tormid. And he was like, Kevin, I just want to let you know that we've let Jim go. And I was like, oh.
Let him go where?
Okay. Very caught off guard, extremely caught off guard. And I was like, all right. And he explained a little bit of their thinking. I'm not going to get too much into the details of what occurred because I don't think that's quite appropriate. But stuff happened that I didn't agree with at all. So he explained to me, he goes, so this is why we did that. I'm like,
I want you to be specific. You said that he told you stuff.
So Tormid had said, this is what has occurred, and this is our thinking, and this is our action, and this is why we took the action.
And you said you didn't agree with it.
And I was like, I was very, and he asked, he goes, like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but okay.
So just to verify, your team Jim.
Totally, 100%.
All right. I want to make that crystal clear.
100%. And I'll also say, as I mentioned, I don't want to go into the details because I don't think that's quite appropriate. But Lego has a wonderful habit that I have seen time and time and time again. They do it still today. That they like to enforce rules selectively.
I love it.
And so when the scenario suits them, maybe when somebody's been talking back a little bit too much, or when somebody's been causing waves.
You mean when someone's being a sassy pants?
A little bit. And that happens. They like to all of a sudden go, oh, by the way, that thing you've been doing is not okay. It's like, but you've already said that thing's been okay forever. They like to selectively enforce rules.
I love it. I love it when anybody does that.
Yeah, and I know that's not very much a only Lego thing, but they do it too. Everybody, spoiler alert, they do it too. So this was one of those scenarios where they decided to randomly enforce a rule that wasn't necessarily enforced ever before, and I know for a fact, with photographic evidence, it has been done again since then. And of course, no action was taken. So, take that for what you will. So I was told this. So Tormund told me this, and he goes, "Are you going to be okay?" And my exact response was, "I don't know."
Well, I mean, you'd been in the position you were in for how long?
At this point, let's see. I came on board July 2011, and now we're February 2012.
Yeah. So yeah, less than a year. Yeah,
less than a year. Now I was fully trained, for whatever that means. I mean, of course, it takes longer than that. Yeah. But I was in the position where Jim had kind of let me go. He's like, "All right, you're on. Of course, I'm right behind you. I can help you as needed, but you've got this."
Yeah.
And I did. I asked him questions all the time. I'm like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Or what would you answer to this question or this email?" And he was perfect. He was so good about giving me support in that. And it was amazing how he was always like, "Well, the reason they asked you this is because of that." I'm like, "Really?" It was like every time. That was a skill I'm very happy to report. I have been told that that I learned over my years, but that first year or two, I was like, "How do you do that?" I was like, "How do you know?" But yeah. So I was asked, "Are you going to be okay?" And my exact response was, "I don't know." And I told him, I said, the way we have split up responsibilities here in this office between me and him, he has not been very active at all in the consumer-facing area of this, and I have not been active at all in the company-facing area of this. I don't know what that means. Like, now that it's only me.
Yeah.
And of course, I asked him. I said, "Are you going to be filling this role?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, we should." There's and the thing about the Danes, and Tormund is not Danish. I want to be clear. He's not Danish.
Okay.
He is Norwegian.
Oh.
But he's been living in Billund for 30 years.
He might as well be, from what I know about the Danes, he might as well be Danish.
Might as well be. They have an uncanny ability to be very, I don't know, wishy-washy with how they talk and what they say. And so you can never really kind of pin them down on anything because you could very much interpret their words one way or another.
No boy.
And kind of nobody wins. It's like, so, but in those first, the aftermath of losing Jim, it was this whole like, well, we might or we might not fill it. I think we will, but if you ask me about it later, I'll deny it and it'll be okay. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
That's, yeah.
And so, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, someone's going to come in and I guess we'll take it from there. So the job was not posted.
Right.
So Jim was Senior Community Operations Manager. That was his title. At this point, the team, if you want to call it a team. So there's the department, and then there's the team within the department. The team of community reps was him, Jim, myself, Yan Beyer, and Kim Thompson.
Right.
Yan Beyer and Kim Thompson still work at Lego to this day. Obviously, me and Jim do not. And obviously, the other thing that goes without saying is word travels fast in the community.
Oh yeah.
And so once when Jim was no longer with Lego, that started spreading like wildfire. My email exploded with fans wanting to know what happened to Jim, what happened to Jim, what happened to Jim. I'm like, I can't tell you, so whatever. He's not here. That's what I can tell you. And I mean, just like going absolutely bonkers. And then people started talking about the curse. The curse. The curse of the North American community representative.
Oh my.
So obviously we talked about Steve Witt,
yeah,
the community rep before Jim and before myself. And Steve was let go. It was not his choice to leave Lego.
Right.
And then now Jim has been let go. It was not his choice to leave Lego either.
Huh.
So now you're there are people before. There was Jake McKee before that and Brad Justice before that, and they left of their own accord.
Wow.
But you've got Steve was not left of his own accord, and now you have Jim that was left not of his own. So now you have rumor of the curse. This is the curse of their
Feels
role.
like it now.
And people are like, Kevin, watch out, the curse.
Yeah, Kevin, watch out, Kevin, watch out.
It's funny because in a way, it turned out to be 100% true.
Yeah,
It took many years to kick in for me though. I'm a late bloomer, everybody. But so yeah, Jim, and I was talking to Jim outside of that. So he no longer had his company phone. He did have to turn that in. So there was a little bit of a weird, transition period for how do I get in touch with Jim, because he had a company phone. That was the only number I had for him.
yeah.
But eventually we got in touch and we were able to talk and hear all sides of it. And I'm like, yep, nope, they're out of their minds. Confirmed, 100% confirmed.
There you
go. But yeah, so he was gone, and I didn't know what this was going to mean for me, right? Like, to be a little selfish, what does this mean for me?
Yeah, I mean, you worried about Jim first. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, and I don't know how to tell you how. I can't articulate this enough. I didn't know what was about to happen to me. I assumed they were going to backfill the role, so that's how I was kind of going about it. But in the meantime, I didn't know what kind of outreach I was going to get from the company because I didn't really have a true grasp day to day of what Jim was doing.
Right.
And I didn't need to, right? Like, do you really need to know everything that your boss is doing? No.
Apparently so.
Apparently so.
I'm just talking on my end of it,
Oh, well. And so my inbox imploded. Like, I was already getting hundreds of messages, every few days from the community. Now I started getting hundreds of messages from every aspect of the company. And so I'm like, whoa. And it deeply, deeply overwhelmed me.
I imagine.
I voiced that overwhelmness. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was not trained in terms of like internal matters. I was here as like a PR arm out here with the community, and I know how to do that. And I think I'm doing okay, but this is a different animal. Like, this is representing a external user group to marketing agencies inside or different areas of the company. And it's not like I can't fake it, right? But like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they started coming like heavy. So I was not really used to having anybody who's familiar with Microsoft Office and like the whole inbox and the Outlook and all that. You'll know that you can set up meetings in people's calendars, right? Like, boom, you got a meeting. I wasn't even used to getting that. Like, I would have like, I don't know, one or two, maybe every other week that was like Danish meetings that I would join in via like Skype. Yeah. And like, I turned around and it'd be like, boom, you have a meeting on this day at this time. Boom, you have another meeting on this day at this time. Boom, I was like, whoa. I remember I took a screenshot of my Outlook calendar the month before Jim was gone and the month after Jim left. And it was night and day. That's like my calendar had like 2 meetings in it the month before. And then when he was gone, every hour on the hour, every day through the week, I had meetings.
Oh, wow.
And I was like sitting there going, how on earth do I have the time to like talk to the fans, answer their questions, listen to their phone calls, go to events when every moment of my life is now consumed with Lego meetings.
Right.
I'm like, I don't understand how this is possible. So here's something else. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. As I mentioned, Jim was now vacated. So there was an empty community role for the department in Enfield.
Right.
There is an FTE, a full-time employee spot that is sitting there vacant. That doesn't vanish. It's still there.
Yeah.
At the same time, like right around that same time, the department had recently acquired Lego Ideas, back then called Lego Kuso.
Yep.
So Kuso had not started in the community team. It started with the New Business Group, which is a different branch of Lego. And they had acquired it because they said, this fits more in the community area. And so they had acquired it, sort of. And they were trying to find a place to put one of my former colleagues. He also does not work for Lego anymore, but his name was Tim Courtney. Okay. They were trying to find him a spot in Billund to move from where he was in Chicago, because he was.
That's what everybody wants to do when you get a job, is leave the country.
Well, but for Tim, it very much was so.
Oh, okay.
He's a single guy, not in a relationship. He was like, I'm ready to get out.
Cool. That's cool.
And so he was living in Chicago under contract with New Business Group. And so now he had been hired on as Lego as an employee because of the switch over to Community.
Right.
And they were trying to get a role for him to move to Billund. Apparently, creating such a resource is a huge ordeal. I don't know. That apparently is.
Who knew?
Who knew? And so they were having a lot of difficulty making this. And again, since he's an American, trying to kind of make the business case from a international visa point of view of why do you need this American in Denmark to do this website, whatever it's called, whatever his job was. And they weren't having a lot of success.
No, I imagine.
So then all of a sudden, poof, a available full-time employee spot opens up in their lap for the U.S.
Huh.
And so the decision was made and never communicated openly that they were going to not backfill Jim's role and help me out, and instead give it to Tim, so that he could now move to infield versus moving to Billund, which he was a little pet peeved about.
I imagine so,
because his heart was now in Billund. But he was told, "Oh, good news! We have a role for you in the U.S. and you can move to infield."
Because that's everybody's dream, is to go to infield.
That is everybody's dream. I didn't realize at the time. It took me a good while to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I didn't realize that was the nail in the coffin for me ever getting support. Getting support.
I got you.
That was no, Kevin, we will never be backfilling this role. You're on your own forever. That's what that meant. I didn't realize that at first. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm all right. I guess I'm just going to be doing this temporarily. So before I end today's episode, everybody, hopefully you've been thoroughly entertained.
Edge of the seat, Kevin. That's right.
I at my point in my career now, 2012, I'm now alone. I am a North American community coordinator who has now just been literally overnight been given another continent to manage, saying you now need to take over South America too. Oops. And then also given the entire internal relationship of every Lego business unit and marketing office from the tip of Canada down to the bottom of Latin America. Literally overnight.
Yeah.
I was given all of this. I was not given a raise. I was not given a promotion. I was not given anything to justify the increase in workload, which is so great. I mean, I was like, wow, this seems very familiar to my retail career. I was given all of this and told we may or may not fill the position, but hang in there. You'll do just fine. And in the meantime, they had straight up lied to me and given that role to somebody else just so they could get the person they wanted for the Cuso site into the infield, basically putting the nail in the coffin of ever hiring anybody else to assist. So
yeah,
that all happened. I was very mentally distressed. I'll say that. I was in a very, very overwhelmed place. I was not doing good, folks. I was not doing good. I was very overwhelmed. I was very anxious. I was very stressed. I was scared. I was a lot of things. I mean, what can I say, right? That's just where I was.
It's a reasonable place to be considering what has just transpired.
Yeah, kind of insane, guys. Kind of insane. And that today is where we shall conclude today's episode as the world turns. How you feeling? Feeling good?
All right. I'll take in today's episode. Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. Yeah.
Good though. It's good. I'm glad you got it off your chest. I want you to be meaner towards Lego though. I need you to be. You need me to be? I need you to be.
Here's my thinking. I would never say I'm mean. I do not consider myself a mean person.
No, I know that.
I am critical when it is deserved.
I think you should be. I think you should be hypercritical of Lego at all times.
Hypercritical. I'll say this. I am critical when it's deserved, and I with every fiber of my being, ever since I was a little kid and to this day, I do not appreciate people being lied to.
Nope.
I don't appreciate corporate doublespeak.
Nope.
I don't appreciate selective rule enforcement when it suits your agenda.
Yeah.
I really despise company corporate politics and that kind of games that are played there.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll hear all about more of this stuff as we go on.
I think we're finally in the nitty gritty, everybody. I think we are now finally the nitty gritty.
The promised lands.
Promised land. So,
but it's kind of fascinating though, because you guys have gotten to hear everything that has put me to this place in my life. I mean, you know everything about my college, my college education, my upbringing. About my retail career, me working at other jobs like Walmart.
Yes.
What I know. So here we are. Live it with me, folks. Live it with me.
Live it and loving it. So he's right there. So that's Kevin.
And Julian was over there a minute ago, but there he is. Thank you guys once again for listening. As always, you got questions, throw them in there because I'd love to do a little comment thing each time.
I think we're gonna. Well, we can't really do a comment thing. We'll do a comment thing when we can.
There it is.
Because we're about to record another episode, everybody.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Follow along with Kevin's build.
I'll almost be done. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, buddy. Remember those bricks. Bye.